Good morning all. Today we are headed to a property in Minisink where I'm going to say it was about 4 months ago. We did an underground tank removal with an above ground tank installation. Tank failed inspection of the underground tank. Their specific carrier, we called it into them, their Homeowners Insurance carrier. We used the words potential groundwater impaction, off-site contamination. We used those words to try to get it into the third-party liability or pollution end of the company. When you call in and make a claim first, it goes under first and second party. You use those words, it gets it into third party. Third party is familiar with pollution. They know whether or not you've got coverage there. But immediately, they're going to fight the fight to try to hand you a denial. It's unfortunate, but you know, they're not in the business of writing checks, which I get. Everything is a business. So what they did, that this customer actually had coverage up to, I think it was 15 years ago. So what they do is they don't just automatically give them coverage, even though they're a 22-year customer with this carrier, but 15 years ago, this carrier inserted a pollution exclusion and said, in other words, there's no more coverage on these underground tanks. So because you had it, it's not a grandfather. What you have to do is prove to them that this leak occurred prior to them writing their exclusion. So what they do is they hire a company of theirs. In this case, it's a company called C2G. They're out of New Paltz. They work for this insurance carrier. They want this insurance carrier to continue to use them, so they want to give them good results. So what they do is they come out and they procure analysis with a hand auger, not a geoprobe or a machine. They don't get right down. They don't always get the oldest oil in the soil. They'll take a couple of samples and they'll use the sample that best fits them. So they'll take that sample and they run what's called an age date on it. At age date, a little bit of a BS test. There's only one insurance carrier that does this too, by the way. That age date gives you the results of a plus or minus 2 years. So in other words, it's a 4-year buffer there they've got. So the age date results came in at 13 years. In other words, they were 1 year short. They were 1 year short, so they denied them. This process took 4 to 5 months. I don't know exactly, but because I dug the tank, I removed the tank. When I do that, I look at the size of the tank, the size of the holes, the diameter of the holes, the thickness of the metal. I take a couple of scoops in the base of the void. I dig some test pits. I do some PID readings. With all that, pretty much tells me how much contamination I have to get out. So if the insurance carrier doesn't cover it and we exhaust the effort of fighting the fight, I'll give them a one set price. I don't give them a time and material. I give them a one set price to do this. So in this case, this is what I did. So that's what we're doing today. We're going out there to handle these people. They're very nice people. They don't have a lot of money. They had this carrier for 22 years. I don't know, man. That don't seem right. But again, it's a business. It is what it is. I understand. They can't just go around handing out every claim that calls into them, I think. I don't know. I don't know how wealthy these carriers are. There are a really lot of good carriers out there. Well, when it comes to oil tanks, right now there's 2 good ones. So that's what we're doing. We're headed out there now. I didn't give them a big number. I'm going to take care of this in 2 days. But I always talk to you guys about one of my pet peeves. When we install above ground tanks, I can't tell you how many times I see an above ground tank installed and the black pipe, the fill, the vent, the nipple, the legs, the flanges, they never paint them. It takes 2 seconds to paint them. They never paint them. And within a month's time, they're rusted. So when we go out here, pretty sure we're going to see not rusted legs and flanges. So that's just something I wanted to point out to you. We're going to go out, help these people out. We'll button them up in 2 days, and we'll move on to the next. So that's what Tank Masters is doing today. All right, so we've walked in it's actually a little over 20,000 pounds. We'll clean this all up with soil. We set our 2,000 pound plate. That's where I make my turn, because that's where the damage happens. We laid out all these ground protecting mats. These things are 95 pounds each. They're amazing. We tracked in here. That's our impacted area. We called the homeowner. The septic tank is down there. It actually comes out and runs right along where the deck is, so we're safe. We'll put plastic here. That's where we'll put the overburden, which will be approximately, I'm gonna say 8 tons. That's when we'll get down to the bottom of the tank grave, or the base of the vessel where it was, because that's where the leak began. And then we'll take our PID reading. That's our start point. And then we'll dig the soil right over top the fence. We're gonna line that truck right now with plastic, just in case it's wet, so no water drips out as we head to New Jersey. Also, when we offload it or dump it, it all slides out that way. So the guys will get this nice and close. That's perfect. And we'll just track forward and back. So we're gonna come in here, do an 8-ton remediation with a 20,000 pound excavator, and do virtually no damage. And I'm gonna do this in 2 days for these folks. right, so you can see right here, we've reached the bottom of the excavation where the contamination begins. So Craig will take one good scoop. It smells pretty bad here. Pull it up. And now we're going to do a PID reading on this right here, and this will be our start point. We'll load out 5 tons in the truck. We'll take another reading of that area, probably going to be another 3 feet below grade. We'll see what that PID reading is. If that PID reading is 200, we dig 3 feet down and the reading gets down to 100, it lets me know in another 3 feet we're done here. Once we get a clean bottom, because that's how I like to do this, I like to get a clean bottom first. We'll then excavate around the 4 side walls to determine whether that's elevated or not. Normally in a situation like this, it's going to flow downhill. So I would presume, and you can see right there, there's some more contamination. So those are going to be the elevated side walls. I'm not going to get any closer to the home right here because I've got a footing drain probably another 18 inches below that. I'm going to stay away from that footing drain, but I'm going to find the footing drain discharge somewhere. I'm going to pad it to see if any of the contaminated oil got into the footing drain. If it did, then we'll go to the discharge area. I'll excavate that, remove that also, and then take a sample for the state. So the boys are charging up the PID meter now, and we'll bag this and show you the reading. Okay, Sam's got a baggie. He's gonna grab a sample right now. Not touching it with his hands.
The air's at 1.
Craig's gonna put the meter in. $17. 48, 55, 63. I don't even know if you can read this. 71, 79, 99. We're gonna sit here and wait for this. Yep. Jeez. 135. I do want to get the start point though, so let's just, maybe I'll fast forward the video now.
We're still climbing?
Yeah. All right, so we got a 150. Not bad. That's not bad at all. $100 challenge begins. Let me just say that mine is 5.56. Did you hear that, Craig?
No.
All right. Speak quietly to the camera.
6.00.
I may have went too low. I'm going low because that's way overweight for this truck. Yikes. Michael, come down and whisper it to the camera.
Going with 4.66.
Samuel? Sammy needs 100 bad.
5.2.
5.2.
Yeah.
All right, the numbers are in. I've completely forgotten them all. What was yours, Craig? What?
6.
I think no 6 point anything, just a 6. I think you're going to be the closest, Mike. You're the worst.
4.66.
Sam?
Okay. 5.2.
I think I was 5.45. I don't know, but the cameras recorded it.
Nope.
Sam, what?
There's no stone big rocks here though. It makes me a little nervous.
Ah, that baby's loaded.
Yeah.
That's loaded. It's a little bit wet. So Sam's going to jump in the truck now. An hour and 35 minutes from now, he'll have our answer.
Hey, buddy.
Someone will be rewarded a crisp $100.
And a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
And a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Chick-fil-A, Popeyes.
No, we'll do Chick-fil-A. All right. Can you imagine working with your boys every day? God, am I lucky. All right, Sam, you're off. So when I was explaining this earlier, I forgot to mention that age date criteria came in at 13 years for this homeowner. So after we took out, I don't know, around the 5 tons, we took a PID reading. It came in at 78, slightly elevated. The side walls were around 90 to 100. Again, not that bad. So we just hand excavated those side walls until we got it down to about 15 to 20. Took a couple of big scoops on the bottom. We sent out another, I'm going to say 4 tons. So this is about a 10-ton remediation. So 14 years, 10 tons, not that bad. The reason being is it's a high water table. When the water table rises and falls, it picks up the oil. It spreads it to a larger plumage, yes, but it dissipates the toxicity. In other words, it makes it almost acceptable. And that's what happened here. So again, this was a situation where, I don't know, maybe another contractor came in here and saw this, and he dug for 3 or 4 days. Took out 100, 150 tons. This thing is going to be well under $7,000, $8,000. And I'm going to do it in 2 days. Two easy days. Tomorrow will be short. We're going to take our post-excavation samples now. We've got that overburden covered. We've got the fence covered. And that's it. It's not a scary thing, folks, when you call us. If you got an underground tank, you got any questions, don't hesitate to call us. We'll figure things out. We'll work it out. Your insurance carrier, State Farm, nationwide right now in the state of New York, they're the best. If you've got those guys as your carrier, definitely sign up to remove your tank. I personally work directly with those 2 carriers. I work with them all, but I know the other carriers have pollution exclusions, and they'll spend money to deny you. That's just how it is. So we're going to finish up sweeping up here. We'll let you know tomorrow. Good job, what Sammy is, and we'll see who gets rewarded the $100. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, we are back the second day. We'll finish this up in a couple hours. We'll put that overburden back. We took our post-excavation samples. They were all good. Tank, everything's still gray. The black pipe, once we finish, we'll pick up all these mats and rake this and repair any damage that we did. Okay, folks, we are done here, all compacted. That return and suction line is buried 18 inches below. Just cleaning all this up. As I say, in this time of the year, not much you can do. It still looks good. We have a happy customer. That's what's important. The project is completed, and as always, it's another fine job by Tank Masters Environmental.